Hello viewer, welcome for Business Studies Form 1. You can talk to us, you can give us your comments or your views or ask any question through our SMS line, which is 40007, our Facebook page, Erimu TV, or our Twitter handle, Erimu_KE. Today, we are going to look at business and its environment. But before that, let's look at our last lesson. I left you with some assignment, and you are supposed to define the following terms. The first one, trade, and you are supposed to define trade as involves. It is a situation whereby it involves buying and selling of goods with a view of making profit. The other one was distributors, and these are the people involved in moving goods from where they are produced to where they are needed, mostly from the producers to the customers. The other term was processing. Processing means changing the form of a good without combining it with other goods. And a good example of processing is the grinding of maize to get maize flour. That is processing, because you are not adding anything. You are just changing the form of maize to maize flour. The other one was distribution, and this refers to the activities involved in moving goods from where they are produced to where they are needed. And this one is usually done by the distributors I had asked you previously. Our lesson preview, we are going to look at internal business environment, and we are going to measure on factors that affect the business within. You can categorize the business environment into two, that is external and internal. But for today, we are going to look at the internal environment. Our specific objectives for the lesson, I would expect you that by the end of the lesson, you'll be able to define the term business environment, and you should also be able to state and you explain all internal factors affecting the business. About the external factors, we are going to look at them in our next lesson. So let's look at the business environment. And business environment means the conditions, or what we sometimes call factors that affect a business operation. These factors can be categorized into two, that is, into an internal environment, that is, the factors that are inside the business. And these factors are usually controllable because they are inside the business. The other one is the external environment. This includes factors that are outside the business, from the business environment, outside the business environment. Those factors, and we usually say that they are not controllable because they are not under the control of the business. The business can do nothing about them. We are going to look at them, and we are going to see how they either positively or negatively affect the business. Now, let's look at internal business environment. The internal business environment is also referred to as the micro environment. It is also referred to as the micro environment, and they consist of factors that are within the business unit itself. Just like the way we said about the external, even these internal factors could either affect the business negatively or positively, or what we call the strengths and the weaknesses of the business. These factors can strengthen the business, or they can also weaken the business. So we are going to look at how they are supposed to be administered. How are you supposed to deal with these factors so that at least they can strengthen the business instead of weakening the business. Strength improves the business, but weaknesses, they affect the operations of the business negatively. And you know very well that if a business is strengthened, it makes profit. But on the other hand, if it is weakened, definitely it is going to incur losses. So we are going to look at the internal details and how they may affect the business either negatively or positively. So let's now continue to those factors. The internal factors includes, there are only 4. We have the business structure, we have the resources, and we also have the business culture, and finally we have the owners. Owners are the people who owns the business, the founders of the business. Business culture is the way people relate within the business. Resources can be categorized into several. We have human resources, which includes the employees. We have the financial resource, that is the money. And we also have the physical resources, that includes the building, the art that are there in the business. How are you supposed to use them such that they are benefiting the business or they are strengthening the business? The other one is the business structure, and this one involves arrangement of activities within the business. But now we are going to look at each and every factor in details. Let's start with this includes formal arrangement of activities that are the business. You find that in any business enterprise, there are so many factors or so many activities that take place in that business. How are you supposed to arrange them? How are you supposed to make sure that every activity that is being done in that business is done in the right way, such that it is benefiting the business to perform well? Make sure that all the activities are arranged in a systematic way, each other, or he does another one from performing at its best. The other one, we are going to look at the resources. And a resource refers to something that can be used to achieve an objective. A resource is something that in business, business resource would include every business enterprise. You have to employ people who need to carry out the activities. We have finance resource, that is the money that is for instance in form of profit, the profit that you're getting from your business. How are you using it? You also have the physical resources, and this includes the buildings, the assets that are owned by the business. And you also have technological capabilities. Are you using an up-to-date technology to produce your products? And if not, what is the effect? How is the business going to be affected? We are going to look at these resources in details now. And let's start with the human resource. Human resource refers to the workers or the employees. And for the business to thrive or for the business to run well and make profit, there is a need to match the correct people with the correct job activities. For example, in every business enterprise, you may need an accountant to be keeping the books of accounts or to be preparing the books of accounts. So what are you supposed to do? How are you supposed to select an accountant? Are you supposed to go for a Form 4 river who does not even have an idea of how to keep the books of account? If you do that, your business is likely to be affected negatively. So make sure that you hire the right person for the right job. If it is an accountant, get someone who has done accounting to be accounting for the business. So make sure that in terms of employees, you match the right employee with the right qualifications for the job. The other resource, but before that, it's good to understand that a business that has enough and well-skilled workers who are correctly matched with their respective jobs is likely to do much better than a business that lacks such a personnel. So as a business person, make sure you match the right people with the right activities in the business. Let's now look at the next resource, which is the financial resource. Financial resource is all about money, the money that you earn out of your business. How do you do with that money? There is a need to monitor the money that is raised from the business, that is in form of profit, to make sure that its use is in line with the organization's objectives. Do not misuse that money. Before you prioritize the activities that are more important or that need to be done. So make sure that that money is not misused. You are using it for the right purpose, and your business will thrive. Failure to do that, your business will not perform well. Let's continue to the other resource, which is the physical resources. And I said these may include facilities which belong to the business, such as buildings, machinery, furniture, and stock. Availability of such facilities enables or enhances the business to operate. But if the business lacks physical resources, it cannot perform well. So resources are needed. That is, physical resources are very important in day-to-day operations of the business. And the last resource is the technology. When you are producing your goods, remember, goods are usually produced for sale. That is in a business. Now, for your goods to be demanded or for people to buy your goods, you must make sure that you are producing goods of high quality, goods that people can accept because they are well produced. And failure to that, you find that your goods will not be demanded. That is, it will not have any customers. So it is good to use up-to-date technology when you are producing your goods, so that the goods produced are of good quality and therefore many people can demand for them, and as a result you make more sales. The other factor is the business culture. We have talked about the the factors that affect the business within. And these factors, we have talked about the business culture, we have talked about the owners, we have also mentioned the business structure and also the resources. Now, let's look at the business culture. And the business culture is a combination of employees' expectations, beliefs, and values within the business. So a business that has a culture of involving employees in decision making may perform better than the one that does not. What happens is that if the management of the business sets aside employees feel as if they are not part of the business. And therefore, you find that they become very reluctant when they are working, and they don't actually give their best. This one is can be a number one contributor to the failure of the business. They lack passion for the job. They don't feel part of the team at all. So it's very good to have that culture of involving each and every employee, regardless of his or her level, when you are making important decisions that can help the business to thrive well or to perform much better. And the last factor is the owners. Remember, the owners are the people that start up the business or that owns the business. And most of the time, they are the ones that provide finances to start the business and make very critical decisions about the business. So find that if the owners are not in a position to make good decisions, the business most likely will not survive. So appropriate decisions lead to well-being of the business. And we find that if an owner of a business does not involve especially the employees, the business does not operate well. So it's important owners of the business involve their workers, so that at least they can get an idea of what actually is needed more for the business to do well. The employees also could have better ideas on how they can improve on the operations of the business. So the owners need to be very careful when they are making the decisions. They need to know how to manage the finances that comes from the operations of the business. And thank you for watching. And lastly, I would wish to leave you with an assignment from our lesson for today. And I would like you explain how internal environment factors how internal environment factors are likely to negatively affect the operations of the business. Now, I want you to be very specific. Of the 4 factors that we have discussed, explain directly how they are likely to negatively affect the operations of the business. And we'll start with this come next lesson. But I would like to also review with a quote of the day. Business quote of the day says that without customers, you don't have a business, you have a hobby. So if you put up a business and you don't get someone coming to buy your products from you, that implies that you don't have a business. So you should that could be called a hobby. So you should make sure that you realize where you are going wrong and you work on that. Thank you. See you next lesson.